The word denial itself is a bit ambiguous. In some instances, it might seem like a negative word, which does have some negative connotation. It might help you from shielding these uncomfortable truths that are existing in our society. But fact of the matter, denial sometimes hindrances your healing process because it stops you from acknowledging the ground realities, the innate urges, and the darker truths and unconscious emotional turmoils that you are trying to negate and avoid. So let's check this concept of denial in 3 hypothetical scenarios. The scenario 1, you are behind the wheel, you are driving your way and you are taking your family and friends to some location, and all of a sudden, in a rash movement, while you are not in your proper senses, you made a terrible mistake and you took a wrong turn, or you might be overspeeding, or in a quick span of misjudgment you met with accident. Somehow you survived. Some of your family members might have lost their limbs or legs, or somebody might have died in the accident. You might want to blame the government, you might want to blame the contractor who built that road, you might want to blame the municipality for the potholes on the road, you might want to blame that other end person who was driving in an inebriated condition. No matter how many excuses we might give to ourselves to console us and rationalize your pain and guilt and shame, somehow there is a factor that sometimes we need to acknowledge our responsibility. Denying that responsibility might not help you in the process of healing. Let's see second scenario. You contracted COVID-19 and you were about to go to hospital and you have no one to take you to hospital. So you called your father and asked him to drop at hospital, and somehow you were in pretty bad position and situation that he was really worried about you and he took you to hospital and you were hospitalized for 7 or 10 days. When you fully recovered and came back to home and that you realized that your father expired, and those people were not in a situation to inform you because you were going through the treatment, and somehow you came to know that you were the reason your father got the infection. No matter how much you want to deny the responsibility, you want to blame the medical procedures, lack of help, or government, or the COVID app, or the efficacy of the vaccines and XYZ things, but somehow you feel that you have played a role in your father's demise. Let's see the third scenario. Like, you have a friend who is going through pretty bad breakup and she is constantly complaining about her emotional crisis, and she is constantly talking about her boyfriend and how things could have worked. In some instances, she is talking about ending her life, how painful it is to go on and live a normal life, and she is giving these hints, but you ignored those hints. You thought that she is overreacting. On one fine day that you came to know that she ended her life in the room. When the reality hits, you are in this guilt trip that you are not being able to inform to her parents or to the faculty members. It's a pretty big burden on your shoulder that you were not able to help her, or at least you haven't played the role of a good friend or an empathetic person who could understand her situation and help her to receive some help. When we try to assess, when we try to understand these 3 scenarios, the consistent pattern which emerges is that these people were trying to avoid the pain. They doesn't want to acknowledge the responsibility or the guilt. They doesn't want to accept their responsibility that they did a pretty shitty job. Because acceptance always brings the avalanche of pain. And we doesn't want to embrace this emotional roller coaster ride. So it's easy to negate, it's easy to deny. So it is not my responsibility to talk or think about the roads. And you might want to shrug off your responsibility by saying that there were umpteen number of people who lost their life because of advanced age. Why I am sharing this? Because I have seen n number of people who are in this denial mode, who doesn't want to accept hard truths and hard realities and take responsibility of the healing process and healing journey. It's pretty easy for them to just not to come for therapy or to move on to a new therapist, or simply shoot and scoot and saying that you were misjudging me and you were not able to understand my situation. I'm not the responsible person here. Listen friends, it's always comes with the baggage of accepting the pain and regret. Denial might seem an easy way out, but it's not. Accept reality, work on yourself, embrace therapy, and help yourself in healing process. Until next video, this is Gautam signing off. Namaste.